heck not. Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with your viewers in real time. Hosts must be 18 years of age or older. Yep, I am. Viewers must be recharge and send gifts. I still don't know what that is, but I think it's nice. Cluttered and want to get unstuck? I can help. Follow my page too. Thanks. That's what I wrote. Hey, welcome everybody. So check it out. I decided, what the heck? I said I was going to be on TikTok Live at 8 o'clock, and I will be. But I'm starting early because I feel like it. So, welcome everybody. Welcome. Smiles, everyone. Smiles. Consider me, hold on. Ricardo Montalban, Mr. Rourke. I am not Hervé Villachez, but welcome to the Destination Decluttered TikTok Live, where I help you. I answer your questions about your clutter and your stuff. I ask you to please like my page if you are struggling with stuff in clutter and stuff like that there. So ask some questions in the comment section. That's right. I know I have to swipe it over like this. Whoosh, and I can see it bigger. So my glasses are here. Yeah, so I am Beth. I'm the decluttering life coach because it's not just about decluttering. Hello, folks. It's not just about having a decluttered home, because what's the fun of having a decluttered home is if you're like, all right, I got a clean and organized home. Now what? Meh, you know? So I'm like all about, let's get your life to where you're all wicked excited about it. Okay, you are always struggling. Why do you procrastinate? Glitter Ava 1. Why do you procrastinate, my dear? Maybe something like you're afraid to get started, you get perfection, you don't know where to start, the thing is boring. There's so much. Procrastination, we all deal with it. Yeah. How to declutter a junk drawer. Okay, so procrastination means you're just not starting your thing and you know you have to do it. Maybe it's overwhelming. I'm going to throw this out, and this is the one different thing. Okay, so overwhelming, this is what I want to teach everybody, all of y'all who are on here right now. Overwhelm. When you think overwhelm, when I say overwhelm, you say chunk it down into smaller bits. Seriously. This is where I'm here at my desk, so I have my map. I coach with, I coach like you're on a road trip. Where are we? So here you are, right? So if you're overwhelmed, you're looking at the whole freaking map. But what you really want to do is you want to drive to, where am I? You want to drive to Palm Springs. I always am using Palm Springs, California as my reference. But you're looking at the whole map as opposed to just looking at your GPS and saying, where can I go today? How much time do I have to drive today? Okay? So break down whatever you're overwhelmed with into smaller chunks. And then also, here's a big takeaway. Do not strive, none of you, I'm telling y'all right now, do not strive for perfection. Perfection is like it's one of the backseat drivers in the voices in your head. Perfection keeps you stopping from starting because you're thinking, well, if it's not going to be perfect, never go for perfection. Go for good, go for better, go for done. Good, better, done. How's that? Okay. Okay, so you're much better at ending clutter. You need organization. Wonderful. Okay, declutter a junk drawer and need help with organization. They're both the same things. Here is a phrase that I used when I used to work at Pier 1 Imports. Anybody remember them? I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm going to use some pop culture references some of you youngsters may not know about. Like items together. Like items together. You know, we would have our little votive candles. I can riff off the SKU number for if you want. We'd have the votive candles here. We'd have the brass candlesticks over here. We'd have like the loofah sponges over here, like whatever. Like items together. So when you have a junk drawer and you have things that you need to organize, before you even do that, sort your stuff out. You've got your pencils here. You've got your rubber bands here. You've got your paper clips here. Sort out all the stuff and then decide what you want to have in that drawer and say, this is now officially the home. This is where these things live, and make a home for them. Okay, so the organization, start with like items together. Paperwork, same thing. Paperwork usually ends up being, it's so funny, I'm getting text from my sister. Pam, Mad Mama Vintage, I'm actually on the TikTok Live, so I'll talk about Disney later. Paperwork is usually like, I got a wicked easy way for you to sort, like to store your paperwork. Literally, here's what I say is open up your mail, throw out the envelope, or I say throw it, recycle the envelope, recycle all the paperwork that comes with it. Get rid of that immediately. Only save the stuff you think is important. Then do the action to it. So if it's a bill you got to pay the bill. When it comes to like, oh, now I have to like store this paperwork. Seriously? This is going to be revolutionary. Take one box. Put this date on it, 2023. Every single piece of paper that you think you want to save, just put it in that box. Don't organize it. Don't do anything. When are you ever going to look at it? It's either you or like the if you get audited from the whoever those people are, the IRS. Put it in a box and consider it done. Boom. Easy peasy. Okay? Who else? Working on your closet. Awesome, people. Working on your closet. Working on anything. Working on anything that you're not feeling good about is worthy. So high five to you, my dear. Closets rock. Always get the most done and don't know what to do with. Mostly done and don't know what to do with the rest. Yes. Okay. So congratulate yourself on getting it mostly done. That is a major accomplishment. And I'm going to tell us all right now. Okay. So, there will always be, until the day you die, you will not die, you will not leave this mortal coil with everything nice and neat and tidy. There's always going to be some random stuff that you just don't know what to do with. Maybe have a place for your random stuff, but try to identify that stuff and make it as small as possible. Okay? Now I'm scrolling through here because y'all are going so fast. And I'm not even from the South, and I just said y'all. Let me think. Courtney. Oh, yeah. Okay, so where does it go? I don't know. Put the box somewhere where you don't see it. Put it in the bottom of a closet and just know that that's where your box of this year's paperwork goes. And then at the end of the year, put it in storage or shred it. Or if you're really scared that you're going to be asked things. See, here's the deal. Here's the deal for everybody who's watching. Here's the deal with paper that you get in the mail now that you have. Your paper that you're getting into, have you noticed that you always are being asked to opt out of the paper and you can go digital? Every piece of paper that you save pretty much from your bills that you're paying or the important things, those are generated from an already existing electronic form that is located somewhere. So you could seriously, I want to deal with it on a couple of levels. If you are getting anxious and you're afraid to go from paper to digital, I get that. If you're afraid to throw away the paper, I get that. What I'm saying is you could probably get rid of that stuff, but you're probably also never going to need to look at it. So put it in a box, Jason, and then put that box somewhere out of easy for you to get to, so you put your papers in it, but also in a low profile area. I keep on thinking like at the bottom, like on the floor of like a closet or a shelf in a closet, or like just in a drawer. And then put it even in further storage, and then every 7 years go and get it shredded. Wicked easy. Okay? So hope that helps. Yeah. Okay. And let me go. Closet under the stairs. Ooh, kind of sounds scary. Okay, let me see. I love this. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm getting to everybody's comments. I like to, make sure everybody gets seen if I'm able to do that. Let me see what else we got. I like to repurpose things for storage. I'm looking for something to put my face wipes in, something different. Have fun with that. Yeah. I do that sometimes. Like, actually, here's a funny thing. I'll show you my repurposing. Where are we? I was just putting stuff in it. So this is a jar that I have like little clips in. I have a shelf underneath my desk that has my storage things in it. And I specifically saved, this is a glass jar from Marshmallow Fluff, because I'm from New England and that's where it's made. And I love little things like this, but I made it into something useful. Notice, like items together. It's all just the clips. It's not a whole bunch of stuff. And I have it on a shelf that I know exactly where it is. Okay, I'm on the better stage in your craft closet. Rock on, okay? Just feel like I need better organization in there. Okay, so a couple of ideas. And again, this is unlike, this is the information, this is the advice and help I can give when it's just a very general thing and I'm talking to a bunch of people. unlike when I do one-on-one coaching. So this is what I do. I really dig connecting up with you all on the TikTok lives. I've been having a lot of fun with this. So if you want to know when I'm going live next, I'm going to keep on doing these until, I don't. But like my page, and I think you'll be notified about it. But for your organizing of your craft closet, here's what I would recommend. And I always say, you got to sort it before you store it. I don't know if that's too long to be like a hashtag, but that could be a sort it before you store it. What do I mean by that? Again, I went back to the original one, like items together. So you can put, and this is it depends on what works best for you. But for example, if you've got a bunch of different crafts that you do, you might want to put all of your knitting things in one thing, all of your scrapbooking things. I almost said scrapbook, and I didn't mean to say that. Scrapbooking things together, all of your rubber stamp things, all your candle making things, if you have a variety of things like that. So you know that when you want to go do your, can you tell I'm not crafty? I'm struggling for the words. Like if you want to do your knitting, you have your knitting stuff all in one place. But also when you do that, make sure that everything you have in that category is stuff that you actually use and that works well for you. So sort through it. Are you using all those needles? Is the thread, yarn of colors that you want to do something with? You might be able to remove some things that you thought you were going to use for that project and not. So I hope that helps with it. Looks like I've got a bunch of messages and I'm going to try to find it. I hate the clutter. Yeah, everybody does. I'm not in New England. I used to be in Massachusetts. So you're going to hear me say wicked a lot. All right. So Nikki Unplugged, you're wicked awesome. You're wicked pissa, actually. How's that? Okay. Bad habit. Instead of just getting rid of stuff, I say, oh, yard sale. That never happens. Okay. The good thing is, Julie Duran 33, you know that about yourself. So say, oh, I thought I was going to have a yard sale and I'm not going to have a yard sale. So then donate it to some place that might be able to benefit from selling your stuff and making the money. I always use this recommendation when in my town, we are lucky enough to have a historical society that does these regular sales, and they use 100% of their profits from the sales to fund their good stuff. So find a place that you feel good about donating it to and donate it. Or just have a yard sale and do that too. I will say though, sometimes yard sales can be a lot of work for very little return. So figure out, this is one of the things I help with when I coach, is figure out how you want to spend your time, okay? I'm going to be right back. I will share where I got my glasses, but in a hot minute, it's going to be funny. You're going to hear me like be the wife I am. Hey, boo-boo. Hey, so Pam was on the thing. She's texting about Disney. Can you get back to her? I'm doing a TikTok live. All right, thank you. This is real life, people. Anyhow, so I got my glasses. I live in a little town called Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and there is an eyeglasses place and also an awesome couple who do your eye adjusto things called Visual Edge. Google Visual Edge in Phoenixville, PA. Tell them Maud Betty sent you, and they will tell you all about where they got these frames for me. I asked them to get me some funky frames, and they did, and I love them, so thank you. All right, what else do we have here? Following. Want to make sure I get everybody's questions here. Yep, okay, whoops. You see, it's so funny. There's nothing, and then it jumps. Okay, you know what? You love purging stuff. That's awesome. That is so cool. That's great. That is not everybody has that thing. I will say this. I find once I get going, and I will offer this up to all of you. If you struggle with getting rid of some stuff, once you get your brain in the right kind of frame of mind, it is easier, and then you will find out that it can feel good. It can feel freeing, and like a burden is being lifted when you are getting rid of the stuff that you don't like anymore. I never encourage people to get rid of stuff that they care about. I mean, please, like I am surrounded. Check out some of my videos. I do them occasionally from around my house. I collect stuff. I used to collect more than I do now, but I still love the collections that I have. But I've also gone through and culled out just the things that mean a lot to me and reduced my clutter reduced my clutter and also reduced my collections to just the things that like light me up, that give me like a green light go, oh my God, I love this feeling in my heart, you know? Okay, so this is interesting. You've got a donation bag that drives around. I assume you're saying like with you. How about tomorrow? What day is today? Oh, I was thinking it was Friday. Just donate it. Just get that, cross that off your list. Does anybody else besides me get such a feeling of like freaking accomplishment and a dopamine rush when I'm like, did it, crossing it off, tear the page off, throwing it away, high five, you know? Give yourself that reward, you know? You are from Scranton. I have been up to Scranton. I love Scranton pizza. Nipa pizza. Good stuff. You live next to Disney World. You are a lucky person. Yes. My husband is a musician. He's playing there. Oh my God. Now he's texting and I'm on the thread. He's in a band that's playing at Epcot in a few months, and my sister might come over, so that's why we're talking about it. Yes, completely you have to be in the right mood and the right mindset to clutter, to go through your stuff. So Jack 36, that is wise of you to realize that about yourself, to get yourself in the right frame of mind. How do I recommend decluttering for a small business owner? Ooh, well, depending upon what your business is, I would say it really depends on your business, but figure out what are the things you need for your business. Now, paperwork for small business owners is probably a bit different than your personal papers. But the great thing is, I would like to think you've got people, there are people out there that are like tax people, and people can help you with QuickBooks and stuff like that, that they will let you know the papers to save. But you also know that yourself, to say this is a business expense, this is a personal expense. Same kind of thing. Now, you will probably need to keep a little bit more organized in order to do your taxes with that. And that's where I'm kind of like, I try to keep mine as simple as possible. I actually literally pay somebody to help me with my QuickBooks, because it's not just me, it's my husband that I just recommended. And I tell this woman that she's not only like a QuickBooks person, she's also like a marriage saver. So I don't have to, I do not have to nag my husband about it, okay? Delaware. I used to live in Delaware. The orchestra featuring ELO former members. They're back from the 70s. He's not from the 70s. He's a youngster, but he plays with them. Okay, this is excellent. Let's go, Lex. You are getting rid of stuff and feeling good. Rock on with your bad self, okay? That is awesome. Keep it up. Keep it up, okay? Yeah, so here's another couple of things that I'm gonna plant a seed about clutter and stuff, just so you all think about it, because this has been coming up with some of my clients that I want to make sure I reach out and I just let people know about this. So first of all, actually, I guess I'll do the infomercial first, which is I am Beth. I'm the Decluttering Life Coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I call it that because I love to travel. See over here, even I got like a little, I got a little car and a little map pin here. And that's how I talk. I talk about, road tripping. I used to write books about road tripping. I used to take pictures of vintage diners, all that kind of stuff. So everything I do is kind of travel based, and we talk about your destination, how you want your life to look and feel. And here's my thought is the stuff that you own should do nothing but 100% support the person you are and the person you want to be. So what do I mean by that? So anything that you own that tells you a bad story, that makes you feel bad, you should not have that in your home. Now, trust me, I came from a cluttered home. I came from a family of collectors and thrifters and people that saw the possibility in a trash heap. I like literally the stuff in the shelves behind me, I have thrifted, I have collected. Most of the stuff in our house has been, thrifted or bought secondhand or trash picked, things like that. So I know what it's like to be a person who has a relationship with stuff. I'm not one of these people that goes and buys things at the mall and can easily, get rid of them. So I get it. And yes, that is a TWA flight bag. Good call. I got one right there. They have another one that kind of fell down. I love the TWA hotel in the JFK airport. Oh my God. Mid-century modern divineness. So that's why I have that there too. So I know what it's like to be a person with stuff. And for years, I was kind of decluttered, but not really. We would have like the room I'm sitting in right now is my office, my studio in our home. We have a small home, but whenever we would have people over, especially for like the big, we would usually have like a big blowout open house around Christmas, and then we started doing it at Christmas and then in June. And oftentimes this room became what we would call the pitch and ditch room. Does anybody else have a pitch and ditch room or an area of your house if you have people over saying, don't go in that room, you shut the door and you pray they don't open it because it's like, as my mother would say, it's like McGee's closet, okay? So I know what it's like. But the cool thing is that I also learned through many ways. I got ADHD in my family, so I know how to deal with people who have the distraction, who can't focus for a long time, who have emotional attachments to stuff. So do I. But also, I think I just lost my own train of thought. The thing about the clutter is I learned different tricks of the trade through different jobs that I've had. And then honestly, I'll be completely serious. Once I started getting some self-help for myself, because I was struggling with, what am I doing with my life? When I finally started getting some coaching for myself, when I started reading self-help books and realizing that it's not just about the stuff in my house, it's about what I think about the stuff in my house. And is it adding joy to me, or is it dragging me down? That is when everything changed for the complete better. And that's why I offer one-on-one clutter coaching, because I know the difference it made in my life to get some help with what I was struggling with. And I've always been the person in my family. I mean, if my sister weren't texting with my husband about, Disney or whatever, this is so funny. There's a testimonial. I think it's on here. It might be on Instagram. So my sister is Mad Mama Vintage in Stoughton, Massachusetts. So she also comes from a cluttered home, and she also loves to thrift. In fact, I know she was out today shopping and getting some cool stuff for her vintage store. So if you're a vintage collector, check her out. But the coolest thing she did was she actually gave me like a testimonial on one of my things, because when I'm talking about parents with clutter and the fact that if you are a certain age, if you have parents that are still alive, or family, at some point, whether you like it or not, you are probably going to be the person who is going to have to deal with their stuff. And I say that to remind you that also at some point, somebody else is going to have to deal with your stuff. So why not learn right now how to create a decluttered home in a place that lights you up, and you get rid of the stuff that doesn't light you up, and you make a plan for what you do have, so that you then have the skills to help your older parents, to help yourself basically from all that stuff coming to your house. And then also, if you have a younger generation, do you want them to be saddled with, stuff that they don't want, kind of like you feel heavy? So this is why I do what I do. If you have any questions about your own clutter and stuff, just know that oftentimes I've been doing these TikTok lives. I've just started like last week, and I've been having a lot of fun connecting up with people and helping them with what they're struggling with. And I will say this, the question you have you think is specific to you is obviously directly specific to you, but please know that there are a lot of themes that many people are struggling with. People talk about, being overwhelmed, not knowing where to start, giving up when it gets tough, different things like that, paperwork, organizing. So if you have something specific that you're thinking about, feel free to put it in the comments, and I will answer your question. And when I answer your question, I'm helping you, but you're also helping somebody else, because your question might be something that somebody else was going to ask but was maybe afraid to, Oh my gosh, truly 1963. Check it out. Swedish desk cleaning, 100%. Where is it? Yeah, it is. It's all about getting a handle on your stuff before you die so nobody has to deal with your things. Can I speak to the bookshelf behind me? Yes, I can. So the bookshelf is from IKEA, and I love collecting vintage stuff. And I used to be a visual merchandiser for many years and worked in management for Pier 1 and Mikasa and Filene's and a bunch of different places. So I love when things look good on display. My house is like visually merchandised so that it just delights me when I walk around it. But you're right, the monochrome. So here's a couple of tricks here. Like items together. I got all my train cases and I put them in one place. I used to have train cases of different colors. I had a blue one, I had a green one, because I would just pick them up when I was thrifting. But then I realized when I wanted them on display, that's so funny. There's something missing from one of the shelves and I don't know what it is. That's wicked funny. I'm going to have to figure out what it is. Anyhow, so I decided to only keep the ones in the colors that I liked. So red, pink, orange, bright cheery colors. So that's that right there. I moved something. Oh, you know what it is? I just remember what it is. So usually, see that empty one? I also have some smaller. Those are like 70s little, what do you call it? Like sewing kits. And I have a sewing kit box, but I store stuff in these. All these things have things stored in them. I've got like, cords and technology stuff. I've got a postcard collection. I've got some, costume jewelry. I've got some hats in one. And the one that's in the middle is usually the blue one. And that has my stuff for when I am doing some framing. And I have some artwork I just got that I want to hang up. So it's got some nails in it. So that's it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Kept a lot of stuff from guilt from my divorce. No more keeping all that stuff. I love that you're saying that, lady, because hell yeah. Get rid of anything that tells you a bad story, and who the heck wants to be reminded of a failed relationship? Not me. I did the same thing. Oh, grief has made you a hot mess. Everything is clutter and too much stuff and so disorganized. Well, I don't know what you're grieving, but my heart goes out to your heart because grief sucks. And I feel bad that you are going through something that's making you feel bad. And yes, your emotional state will definitely impact being organized and being cluttered and wanting to focus or caring or even having the energy to. So work on your grief, get some help with that. And when you are in a better frame of mind and heart, you might be able to deal with it. I don't want to say take as long as you can, but give yourself time to grieve for whatever you're grieving and give yourself time to heal so that you do see that your life will be improved by not being a hot mess and being disorganized, okay? All right, Nurse Cat has a room full of Longaberger baskets that have been in boxes for 23 years, but I still can't part. All right, so Nurse Cat, if you were my client, I would ask with just curiosity, why can't you part with them? So ask yourself, why can't you part with them? And then listen for the answer in your head. Now, the one thing I will say about things like Longaberger baskets, and also if you are a collector of things, and if you collect things and hold on to them thinking they might be worth something someday, you might want to do I don't want to say a reality check, sounds kind of negative connotations, but do a check online and see if the stuff that you are holding on to, because you think it might be worth something someday, is actually worth anything now on the market. We found this out the hard way when I was helping my mother clean out some of the stuff from when my dad passed. He used to collect books, and he paid a lot of money for some of these books. And we all thought, Dad paid a lot of money for these books. When we go to sell them, we'll get a lot of money. No, because in those years that from when he passed to when we sold them, the market had changed. People weren't interested in his books anymore. We did get some money, but never the amount that he invested. Okay. So, love my 3 kids too. You're about to move and you need all the help. I can help you from a distance if you want to do one-on-one coaching. You're a closet hoarder and you hate to throw anything away because you might need it. Okay, so the funny thing is I don't know if you mean like you're an afraid hoarder or your closets are full. It's probably both. I would say this. If you hate to throw away things and they are good things, then find a way to donate them. Do not throw them away. Donate them to a place where the stuff that you have that is in good condition that you don't need could revolutionize somebody else's life, okay? So know that when you donate things, you can help somebody else who has less than you do. The other thing with the I might need it someday thing is believe in the ability to borrow. What are you afraid that you might need someday, that if you did give it away or throw it away or whatever, that if you no longer had it with you and you suddenly needed it, could you borrow it from somebody? Okay? Could you borrow it from somebody, or like if need be, and I hate to say this, but like, yeah, you could probably order it online from Amazon, and they could literally, like, they would be knocking on your door delivering it before you even hit the button, you know? Okay, so Nurse Cat, okay, here's a good thing. So that you're right. So that's what I was afraid of, that your baskets aren't worth anything anymore. They are not going to they're not suddenly going to increase in value if you're hanging on to them. Yeah, because you spent a lot of money on them. It happens to all of us. It does. We spend money on things, and they basically, most things lose their value. We never can, with very few exceptions, you can never sell something for the same or more than you purchased it for. It's just the way capitalism works. But what I will offer to you is this, is the words of Seth Godin. You can look this up in this mantra that he uses, which is, he says, ignore the sunk costs. So you're going to have to, so forget the amount of money that you invested in it, because you'll never get it back. I say release yourself from the sunk costs, and then donate them somewhere where they just might delight somebody. Maybe somebody could use them. Pick your favorite, have a good feeling with it, and then, you know, they're not doing you any good, weighing you down, hanging out in your house. Okay? Live and learn. We all do it. We all buy stuff and we think something's gonna happen, and it doesn't work out. It's just when you know that that's just part of the cycle of life, then be kind to yourself and realize they're not bringing you joy. If anything, they're making you feel bad and guilty. So donate them, and somebody else could be like, oh my God, I collect those, and that's the one I've been waiting for my thing. All right? Yeah, Heather Gray Designs. You just cleaned 2 houses for family, saving stuff to sell, barely was able to sell anything. It is true. It is true. And selling stuff, unless what you have is specifically a high ticket, easy to sell item, you will probably invest more time and effort in it and not get paid what you should for an hourly rate of doing it. Trust me, I know this. I have done that. And that's why I feel so much better about encouraging people to just donate, as opposed to going through the selling. You can spend so much of the time that you should be doing other fun things. And then you get like $5 and you're like, damn, I should have just gone and had fun, right? Donating versus trying to sell. I hope this is helping. So what I will say is this, donating, you can benefit by, if you itemize your taxes, you can get a receipt so you can help with your taxes. Donating can also help somebody who has nothing. Donating can also just be the easiest way for you to release some things, because selling can be arduous. You know, like I have a bunch of stuff. I sold some stuff at one point to finance a trip that I wanted to take. I knew I had some stuff in our basement that I was like, oh, I should sell it. I got the opportunity to take a trip with a friend of mine, and I needed some money quick. But the only reason I was able to do that is because the stuff that I had, that I no longer have now because I spent it, was like furniture that I knew I could sell for hundreds of dollars. And so I did that. It was worth hundreds of dollars, so it was worth my time investment to do it. But some things I know that are down there that I know could get like $20 on eBay, it's not worth my time. So yeah, someone else will love it. So I recommend finding a place that feels good to you, that you can donate it, to know that it could light up somebody else's life. Yeah, video games were the only things you make money on. It's weird. And I will say this, sometimes the things you think you're going to make money on, and sometimes the things that like older family members hold on to, thinking it's like antiques and stuff like that, nobody cares about. Like the fancy china or the silver plate or like, you know, the crystal. And yet, if you've got Pyrex bowls, if you've got Corelware, if you've got like stuff like that, that would be more like the kitchen-y everyday use, that stuff, take a look on the Google. You know, you might have some of that stuff, you know? Yeah, and seriously, this is why I do what I do, and this is why I'm showing up on TikTok so often recently, is because I'm really realizing that this is a place where I can directly connect with people who are struggling with their stuff. And I have been there, but I also help people. And that's what I do. If you get on my mailing list, I will say this. I have an email mailing list, and when you do that, there is a habit tracker that I have that I send you for free that has like 10 things that you can easily do every day to keep yourself decluttered, like super simple things that if you just repeat it, it helps with your clutter. The other thing too is if you get on my email mailing list, I always like to do something special for the people on my mailing list that nobody else knows about. And when you get on the mailing list, like for example, last month I did a live 1-hour Zoom where it's me on Zoom, it's you on Zoom, it's everybody who decides to show up, and you get to ask your question like you're doing here, but you get to do it one-on-one and get a little bit of, you get a flavor of what it's like to have one-on-one coaching. So if you want to sign up, go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com/join. I think the link for it is in my TikTok like homepage or whatever you call it. So there's that. And then also, if you're interested, if you would like to work one-on-one, I work one-on-one only in Zoom. So like I saw somebody, Rick 2002, need help with cleaning but not comfortable having someone come. That's why I do what I do from Zoom, because I don't have to go into your house. You don't have to be afraid or hide in something or cleaning up. You can find like a corner you can sit in and we can just talk about stuff, because at the end of the day, what we do, the change that happens is not me going into your house and helping you move stuff with my hands. It's you and I having a conversation about how you think about your things, how about you think about your life, how you think about your future, and helping you get into touch with your thoughts about these things, and then thinking better thoughts about them to get you to where you want your life to go. Okay? You'd love to do what I do. How can you get started? Help people. Who do you know in your immediate family or friends or neighborhood that could use your help, and offer it for free? That's what I did. But yeah, excuse me, I was getting all, yeah, help people. That's what I'm doing. And I love to help people with when I see somebody struggling with something and I know I have the skills to help them, it feels like a sin for me not to at least let people know, to plant a seed that if you are struggling with something and it's clutter and stuff and your life's not looking and feeling like the way you want it to, there is help out there. Now, I may not be the person that helps you. Maybe you don't like how I talk or, whatever. Or I might be exactly what you need because you think I would be fun to work with. I make it fun. I talk about it like a road trip. I use pop culture references. I'm pretty, as you can see, I am casual. I'm not an uptight corporate coach, because that's not who I am and that's not what I want to be, right? Yeah, okay, so if you need physical help, there are people, and see, even right now, see this lovely kind of support just by the people who don't even know each other. We all want to support people with what we have, and even if what we have is a little bit of encouragement, that really goes a long way. I would offer this too. If you need help with anything in your life, get the word out. You don't know how many resources are there and readily available to you until you share the fact that you need help with something, okay? So if you are ready but you're physically not able to, maybe there's somebody who can come into your life that is physically able to help you move the stuff. You might have to pay them. Or it could be somebody who comes as part of a charity, or I don't know your situation, but there are people out there. Here's the funny thing, we've got college hunks with junk. There are people that if you want to point and tell them what to do, you can hire somebody who has 2 hands that can move stuff, right? It's overwhelming and hard to start. When I look at all the stuff, I just want to light a match. you so many. So overwhelm. I said this before, and I will continue to say it, because overwhelm just means that you are looking at the entire map of the United States when you want to start a road trip. All you're doing is looking at all of it, and you have a part of your brain that says, don't even start to try because it's so big you'll never make any progress. But what I will offer to you is, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm here on the East Coast and I want to drive to Palm Springs, this is so overwhelming, I'm not going to start. Pretend you put it into your GPS and you're like, all right, if I just go and I go to the end of this street and I take a right and then I take a left and then I take a right, start small. The opposite of overwhelm, the way to overcome the overwhelm, as I like to say when I'm coaching, is to chunk it on down to smaller, more manageable bits. There's that goofy saying about how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is a bite at a time. Overwhelm, when you say overwhelm, I say you're looking at it too big. So every time you say or feel overwhelmed, remember be going, you're just looking at it too big. Look at it smaller, and you can just start with something little, okay? Yes, Envy Butterfly 72, put it out to the universe. I do that a lot, and you know what? There are people out there who want to help you. I love making connections. That's one of my favorite things. When I find out if there's somebody I hear they want something, it's almost like being a fairy godmother. Like when you hear somebody who wants something and you know somebody who has something, it's kind of fun to make their dreams come true and to help it out, you know? So yes, overwhelm is common. Running out of steam is common. Let me get into this too. Even knowing where to start or why you're starting can be a thing. This is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. First of all, I love to travel. But second of all, I realized I used to, here was like the part where it made all sense to me. I could go on a kick-ass road trip. I was so excited. Like when you want to go on a road trip and you're excited about your destination, and I don't know if you can see behind me, but you see this little like thing that I made out of, I don't know, construction paper or something. It's like a little, if you're on a Google map, you've got the little map point. And then I made this little dotted road, and I made this little car. And then way over here, my head's usually, covering it, but it's another thing. Everything is a road trip. Think of everything, think of all your projects as a road trip, and think about the fact that if you are not excited to get to where you want to go to, you're going to give up when it gets boring, when it gets hard, when it gets sticky, when it gets uncomfortable. I've driven on Route 66, okay? I was so excited to drive from Chicago to LA. Don't get me wrong, it was like a lifelong dream. And I did it, but I'm going to tell you, even that road trip, there were hours and hours and hours where you were just driving in the desert. And you couldn't stop because there was nothing there, and you just had to keep on going. But because I was there and I was so jazzed on being that journey, that's what got me from stopping. Instead of stopping and just parking my car and being like, I'm done, I just kept on going, okay? Oh, all right. Hardest part is to realize the whole is not the problem and just take one bite. Exactly. There you go. And thank you. I'll readily admit to you guys, I so should probably research how to do a TikTok live anymore, but I want to say thank you for somebody saying something about some badges. There's a #1 gifter badge. There was a rose. I don't know quite, it seems like it's a nice thing, so thank you very much. I'm not sure what that's about. The other thing I will offer too is if you know somebody who's struggling, maybe you're okay, but you also know somebody else, get the word out about what I do. If you know a family member or a friend who's struggling with their clutter, let them know that there's help out there. Nobody should struggle with their stuff. We buy stuff to make our lives better, and that's great. But when our stuff starts to make our lives worse, that's when I come in and we just work on removing the stuff that makes you feel better. So then all you're left with is the stuff that lights you up. And I teach you how to not just get decluttered, but stay decluttered and do it in such a short amount of time that you have time in your life to actually get out of your house and do the stuff you want. That's what the life coaching part comes in, is I don't want you sitting around your house cleaning it all day or organizing it. I want it to be organized. I want it to be wicked easy for you to get it cleaned and organized so that you can go out and, you've got a lot of living to do. So I want you to have the time to do that. My motivation is to get you out living that life that you're excited to live, okay? It's called a pin. Yes, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. These things are a little bit delayed. Yeah, anything I can do to help. Ask some questions. As I said, it would be cool to follow my page, because then you find out when I'm doing these things. And I also have been doing, I'm on this it's like a challenge to do a lot of social posts in a short amount of time. So I'm putting videos out that I hope help everybody every day with at least some cluttering tips, decluttering tips, or maybe just some motivation about, I did one today called Every Little Bit Helps, because it does. Every time you show up, even for 5 minutes, it makes a difference. Your best friend is a hoarder. I do want to help her, but it's in her terms. Some days it's okay. Yes. And that is so good of you, fairy godmother, to want to help her and let her know that there's help available. I will say this, hoarding is also an official diagnosis in the DSM-5. So sometimes when it's a real serious hoarding situation, it is a mental there's a problem there, that there should be professional help, and that's beyond my scope. And that's why whenever somebody is interested in coaching with me, first of all, yeah, you can never change somebody else, but that's so cool that you say to your friend, I'm there to help you when you need me. You're doing such a good thing. So rock on with your bad self. But you can't change anybody else. I always say, have you tried to change yourself lately? It's so difficult to even change yourself. It's impossible to change somebody else. This dovetails nicely into, please advise about husbands that clutter. Okay, I have a couple of thoughts about husbands that clutter. I'm going to share it. I have a husband. He's actually a really good guy. So he has cluttered. I have trained him. To have better habits, so at least the public areas of the house are not as cluttered. And it's things like, you should be teaching your kids, like, put your clothes in the hamper when they're dirty. Put your dirty dishes in the sink. Put the dirty dishes from the sink into the dishwasher. Fold your laundry. Put your laundry away. If that thing is a piece of trash, put it in the trash. Hey, are those your toys that you were playing with? Put them away after you're done. Okay? I would say this, yeah. And also, I will also be careful to be like, because this happened to my parents. It was like, well, I may be worse, I may be bad, but he's worse, or it's not me, it's his stuff. Start with yourself. If you are Karen Franz, if you are 100% clutter free and you have no faults in the clutter zone, rock on with your bad self. But if you have clutter to deal with too, one of the things you can do is start to model better decluttering behavior and work on your own stuff. That also sometimes will inspire other people in the house. Thank you about loving my glasses. I love them too. I got them at a place called Visual Edge in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. You can get in touch with them and tell them you saw me on TikTok, and they'll know what you're talking about. I struggle with throwing usable items away. That makes sense. If it's usable, it could be thrown away. It shouldn't be thrown away, or doesn't make it difficult. But I say this, will you use it? If you will use it, then use it. If it is usable but you won't use it, get it to some place where they will use it. Donate it somewhere. If it's something that is like commercially made, donate it. If it's maybe just, margarine tubs or something, maybe there's a crafty place that could use them. Recycle things when possible. Yeah, donating it should be pretty easy. Think of yourself that, don't throw it away. I am never a fan of throwing away unless it's such at a point, and even then, I'm like literally trying to get stuff out of dumpsters myself, seriously. So what I will say is this, think about donating as you being able to improve the life of somebody you will never meet in your life. You're like a fairy godmother to somebody that you donate your stuff. You no longer have it, so that you are lightened by your load. Your load is lightened, and then you have also helped somebody who has been struggling, who doesn't even have the thing, who needed that exact same thing that you donated. So when you start to see your donating is not just being you getting rid of something, but for you helping somebody else's life, that may help it. And yes, I will say this, selling is daunting for a reason, because selling can be a big waste of time for very little money. Okay? So, your husband is untrainable. Okay, here's the funny thing. Ever notice when somebody doesn't want to do a job, they do a really bad job of it? Now, I won't get into, I'm not a relationship coach, but what I will say is this, is like sometimes even little kids, they will pitch a fit so they don't have to do what they don't want to do. If you're cleaning up after your husband, he's got somebody to clean up after him. Why would he want to change? He's going to bitch and moan if he has to all of a sudden do his part. This is one of those things that I will stand up on. It's like, unless you are living alone, if you are living in a house with other people in the house, those other people, unless they are infirm and bedridden because they are so old, or they are infants and under the age of, 3 or 4, everybody should be doing a part of the maintenance of the household. It should never fall to just one person who tends to be the lady of the house, the female, the mom, okay? I am firm about that. So just because it's been that way, if it's dragging you down, everybody should be pitching in and doing their things. Now, it's easier for me to say that from a distance here, but it's something I truly believe in. There is no reason why one person in a multifamily home should be doing all of the maintenance of the home. All right? Okay. Getting off of my soapbox. Yeah, pointing. How about this? When you're not, instead of pointing your fingers at yourself, just point the finger at yourself and work on your own clutter first, because then he can't point at you. You know? Okay, you do crafts. My husband has learned to ask about cardboard and things before he throws stuff away. That's wicked nice of him. That's cool. He doesn't care about the clutter. Well, some people have different perspectives on those things. And again, I can only offer on a TikTok live that's going out to the world. I can only offer kind of a general blanket statement, not knowing your specific situation. But I will say this. Some people definitely have different levels of clutter, caring about it. So it could be that you care about it more than he does. That's a conversation you need to have. The other thing too, honestly, is if it really bugs you and he doesn't care about it, but he loves you, he might want to declutter a bit because it makes his wife who he loves happy. Okay? Again, this is a little bit more why I'm not a relationship coach, but I will say, like, my husband has a much higher tolerance for clutter than I do, but in the public areas of the house, he knows that it's just like, well, everything's got a place. And also when you make it easier for people to be decluttered, it just makes it easier for everybody. My husband's studio is like, I try to go in there sometimes and declutter it. It's good for him, and I let him have his space. I think that's why so many of the guys have like their man caves, you know? So maybe let him be as cluttery as he wants in his man cave, you know? Okay. So I can forward it to the ones I live with. Here you go. It is about setting boundaries. It is. It's so true. It's about saying to yourself, why the hell should I be doing all this stuff? I'm not the only person who lives here. I'm not the only person who generates these dishes. And the thing is too, with I will say this, with partners, with people of your own age, like when you're a partner with somebody, you're a partner. They're not a kid and you're not the parent, right? So they should think about if this person was living alone. I was talking to a client recently about this. Think if that person was living alone. They would have to, at some point, have to learn how to pick up after themselves. It should kind of be the same way in a family and a household. Now, children, on the other hand, also think about the fact that, you know, you love your kids and you want to kind of, you know, make life easier for them, but when they don't learn how to keep a tidy home themselves, when they don't learn how to put away their, you know, stuff and clean up, they will move out of the house and they might not know how to take care of their own apartment. Or if they might have a roommate situation and they may be the messy roommate. Part of, I think, you know, and this is me, I will only touch a smidge on parenting because I am not a parent. But in my idea, part of what you're doing is training is it's like a bird in a nest. You train them how to fly. You don't fly them, but you train them how to fly so when they leave the nest, they can survive on their own, you know? Okay. Can you make a quick TikTok that explains that? I lost the thread that was about, but if you put it in there. Oh, okay, let me see. I apologize. These things are going so quickly. Let me see if I can scroll up. But yeah, I would happily do a TikTok about how everybody should do their part. Why should it be, you know, everybody else? And the funny thing is that, like, just because it has been that way for a while does not mean that things can't change. Because if things aren't working out, and if you're frustrated and exhausted, and if things aren't working out, that is an indication to change. So that's one of the things I have to say about that. I don't know. What else can I talk about clutter-wise that I was thinking of? Oh, well, okay, here's the thing. I also, so one of the things I've realized that I do is I do deal a lot with, I also help a lot of one-on-one clients that struggle with ADHD. So if you struggle with ADHD and you're cluttered, that's totally in my wheelhouse. If you know other people in your life that have the ADHD and struggle with it and they're cluttered, let them know I exist. I grew up in an ADHD household with the cluttered people. I have a tinge of it myself. I think it's somewhat recessive in me, but I also learned skills to utilize the way my brain works in the best possible ways, and that's what I do with my one-on-one clients, is we find a system that works for you and for your brain, right? Okay, so both your husband and daughter have ADHD. So the interesting thing about that is that I have no judgment about that. I just know that people's brains work differently. And the clue to getting a decluttered home or getting a home that people are happy with how it looks and feels is creating systems, simple systems that work for those brains, so it makes it easier for the house to be decluttered. You know, I would never set up a really difficult multi-step process just to put your coat on a hanger in a closet in the other room when you're getting home. Like we work together to set up processes and systems, and that sounds so official, but like processes and systems that make it so easy for you to succeed in it and take very little time, that it just is easy for it to be repeated until it becomes a habit. Because a lot of this, and I help people with time management, with, you know, I don't have time to do cluttering, or decluttering, or I don't have time to do the things that are important to me. So we will declutter your schedule as well. We take a look at, all right, what are all the things that are cluttering up your schedule? Where are the places that you could do the things you want? What are the things you can say no to that you don't like, so you can say yes to the things you do like? You know? All right, ADHD and mom of 8, 7 at home, and 6 competitive gymnasts. Ay, Chihuahua, my heart and my energy goes out to you. That exhausts me just by thinking of it. So I don't know what I can do to help you, but God bless you for doing all that, because that is a heavy load. Okay, any tips for folks with a twinge of object impermanence? If I don't see it, I forget it exists. That is something I help my ADHD clients with. And I will say this, it depends on what the thing is, right? Because and this is just a supposition. Again, this is like a general statement because we are in a public forum and we're not talking one-on-one. But there are things in your life that you know that are behind doors, that you know that, like, I would like to think that you know that if you close the cupboard door that you do have cereal behind it. So your food are behind there. It depends on what it is. And so if there are things that you are afraid you're going to forget, then we find a place to put them. The problem with, the thing that I have noticed with that concept of object impermanence, and I need everything in front of me or I will forget it exists, that at a certain point, even with it in front of you, you become blind to it. You still don't see it when it's in front of you. So we work with that. And we decide what does need to be in front of you so you don't forget about it, you know? And some things make sense for you to have in front of you and out, you know, especially if it's like, if you're putting a visual reminder to remind yourself to do something, that is something that you can do short term. It's when you do that and the thing stays there for too long that you just realize that process doesn't work for you. So we create a different process for you to remind yourself to do things and that you do them, you know, so that might help. I told a friend to put her things in plastic containers that are see-through. Yeah, so for example, that's a good thing. So like if you have totes, you know, and I'm going like totes, like, you know, the big ones, they're not too big. Like they should be easier for you to carry. And I always recommend, as she wisely said, Fairy Godmother did, clear ones are better than non-clear ones. But so you can look in a heartbeat and see what's in there. Like perfect example is in this closet behind me. I will... sorry, just got another text. I have a tote in there that's clear, and I didn't realize there's barely anything in it. It's good to know that I have that one there. And what else can I tell you? I shut down when I go to clean because I feel so overwhelmed. So this is funny. Some of you have been on this TikTok for a little bit. I was on since 7. I'll stay till about 8:30. Is overwhelmed just means you're looking at the problem with too big a lens. You're looking at the entire map of the United States when you really just, you want to go on a road trip, okay? So of course you're gonna get overwhelmed because you're looking at the entire house. What you need to do is, it's almost like when you have a camera, right? You've got your camera on your phone, you've got your wide angle lens, you can take a picture of the whole house. Use a different lens, use the one that just focuses on one little area, and that will enable you to start. And I also recommend too, for everybody on here, use the timer on your phone. Use the timer on your phone to set it for 20 minutes and then just start decluttering any way you know how. Like when you work with me, I teach you the methods and skills that I use, but for what you do now, you know how to put stuff away where it belongs. You know how to put trash in the trash. Like you know how to do things. But if you set your timer for 20 minutes, that will give your brain enough time for you to get in gear, to kind of calm down and get into the system. And then when the timer goes off, you can also get a dopamine rush because you can reward yourself. Give yourself a high five, a mental cheering on for even showing up for 20 minutes and doing the decluttering. And then you can choose, do I have enough time? Can I do another 20 minutes now that I'm kind of into it? And if you do, set your timer again. So start with small increments of what you can do in your home. Do not try to conquer the whole thing. It just won't work. And also give yourself some time limits on it to chunk it down that way, okay? I am so glad that I came across your FYP too. I hope it helps. I'm going to be doing a few more of these TikTok lives because I find them fun. I'm still working it out. I think I might show up early mornings, a couple of mornings in the like the weekdays, and then maybe once on like a Saturday morning, like if you're trying to get motivated to do some of your Saturday projects. I'm experimenting with it. This is all an experiment, and I'm just going to see how it goes. But if you want to know when I'm on TikTok Live, again, if you follow my page, you will be able to be notified when I am live. And I think I'm going live tomorrow morning too. So if you know people who are struggling, let them know. I'm going to, oh, there you go. My tender to TikTok Live, she cleaned and a couple of us talked her through. That's awesome. See, there you go. Yes, okay, so this is a really good point. And hold on, I just got to scream to my husband something. Not scream, just yell loudly down the hallway. Hey, boo-boo, can you just text Pam and let her know I'm doing a TikTok Live, and I'll get to her in like a half an hour? Okay. Thank you. We have a small house. Okay, so here's a wonderful thing. Somebody just said something. Sometimes I clean and wind up with a bigger mess. Yes, you do. That's how it works. That's how the process works. Is I tell my clients all the time, it's like, it's going to look worse before it looks better. Because what you need to do, what usually the process is it looks worse because you are sorting things. You're in the sorting mode, okay? What do you call it? And so you have to kind of spread out your stuff to see what you have to decide what you want to keep, what you want to get rid of, like items together. So sometimes the stuff that's been all crammed up, like in a doom box or like a tote, a doom bag, it needs to spread out so you can see it and make decisions. But then once you do that and then you find a home for those things, it gets decluttered again, and then it's much less decluttered than it ever has been. So just know when you say you clean up and wind up with a bigger mess, you say, aha, that's right. That's part of this process. It will look and feel worse sometimes, but that's just before it starts to look and feel better. So don't give up and don't not start. Is that like a They Might Be Giants song? Don't let's start. Anyhow, don't not start because you're like, it's just going to look worse. And don't give up when it starts to look worse. Know that that's the exact part of the process that you're in, that when you push on through to the other side is when all the magic happens, okay? Cool, glad to help. We did keep Donate, Toss, and 2-week box to review in 2 weeks. Perfect. That's a great idea too. Fairy Godmother, you're helping out. You're helping me get some talking points, and you're helping everybody in the comments too. So rock on with your bad self. Yes, if you're unsure of things, and this was another thing too, when somebody talked up thread about having, what do you call it? Like being afraid to let go of things that they might use someday. I did this myself. I went through the top shelf in my kitchen. I didn't need the room, but I was like, what's up there? I'm like, we don't really need this stuff, but we might someday. So I took it, I put it in a tote, I put the date on it, and then I put that tote in the basement. And I said, okay, if we haven't used this stuff in 6 months, we will donate it. And if we needed it, we knew exactly where it was going to be. It was going to be in that tote in the basement. But lo and behold, we didn't need it. And it felt so much better to at least give yourself that option. You kind of distance it. It's like the first step of donating stuff that you're struggling with may not be going from struggle to donate. But there can be some steps in between, much like a road trip. You don't go from the beginning to the end immediately. There are always steps in between, you know? What do you say to yourself when it's going slower than you hoped? You can say to yourself, and I say this with love and like just knowing that it is always going to take slower than you hoped. We all hope the things we don't want to do are going to take a short amount of time. So just know that it's always going to go slower. So when it does, you're like, yep, this is how it happens. And then you say to yourself, like my video today, every little bit helps. Every time I show up and I declutter, I am making progress towards being decluttered. I am not giving up on that dream. I am going to drive towards that delightful destination of being decluttered every day until I get there. I am not going to give up, and rock on for me showing up every day. Because at the end of the day, this is the skill you will learn. When you don't give up and you keep on showing up and you keep on chipping away at your clutter, you are showing up for yourself. You are keeping a promise to yourself. You are telling yourself that that clean, decluttered, delightful home is something you deserve having, and you're just going to keep on doing it till you get there. And the wonderful thing about decluttering is, unlike some things where you can try, and you never get there. You know, you want to be a movie star and it probably not happen. But decluttering, every time you show up and you put things away, you donate things, you trash things, you reduce the amount of things that are coming into your house, every time you show up and do that, it's a math problem. You cannot not be making progress, okay? So you are making awesome progress when it's going slower. Like, I see it, like, okay, perfect example too. You're on a road trip. You're not driving 55 all the time. Sometimes you're driving 25. The only time you don't make progress is when you don't drive at all. And then that happens sometimes when you're sick, when you're tired, whatever. But then don't give up. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on showing up every day and doing a little bit. That's the only way anything ever gets done. Okay? Can you imagine if little kids gave up when you know, they fell on their butts a lot when they were trying to learn how to walk, and they're like, this is tough, screw it. No, they really wanted to walk because they were excited to do it. The world opens up. When you start going towards the life you want to live, decluttered life, your life will open up. Okay? Why don't we say, oh my God, we don't need all these toys, but when going through the toy box, you can't get rid of it. You have to listen to the stories that those things are telling you. And also, please know, I haven't mentioned this yet on this TikTok, but the voices in your head, I call them your backseat drivers and your co-pilot. You are the one in the driver's seat of your car, of your life. You have your hands on the wheel and you can steer anywhere you want. If you're not going where you want to go to, that's because you have voices in the back seat that are encouraging you to stop. So the voices in your back seat are the ones telling you you can't get rid of any of it. And they don't want you to change, so that's why they're telling you that. If you listen to them and you believe them, you will never get anywhere. But please know that there is a co-pilot next to you who all they want to do is get you to wherever you want to go. I model the behavior of your internal co-pilot when we are in a coaching session, and we do it every week, and we do it every week until you get how to talk to yourself and make the decisions that get you moving. You may not know how to do that already, it's like learning a new language. I show you how to calm down the little kids in the back seat so you can start moving in the direction that you want and not freaking them out. Thank you. I didn't get to it, but Penerv, thank you for telling them, because it's like, you can covet it. Here's the great thing. You can covet something that somebody has. It's from IKEA. It's great stuff. And actually, the thing I like about it too, you can also buy like baskets and stuff that make drawers so you can store things in it and it looks like nice and neat. Yeah. So I highly recommend this. And yeah, if there's anything that somebody else has in their life, get curious about it. If you want it, you might be able to get it and discover why you want it. I just got another badge. I don't know what that is, but it sounds nice. And I said, there's some roses. I'm checking that out. Thank you very much. Valentine's Day is coming up. Hey, I will say this too. If your house is cluttered and you want coaching, and maybe your husband or your partner wants the house to be decluttered, tell them that one-on-one decluttering coaching makes a wonderful Valentine's present, okay? Working with me, I have a 10-week system that we work together. We show up on Zoom 1 hour a week for 10 weeks. before and after pictures. I teach you skills. We follow up. There's accountability. I make it fun. And we work together long enough so that you learn. It's like when you would do like driving lessons. You learn how to do these things. And then you have practice with me in the co-pilot seat with you to help you, kind of hone your skills so that by the time we're done together, not only do you know how to get decluttered and stay that way, but the skills you learn can be applied to anywhere else in your life. Okay? So if that sounds cool, my website is destinationdecluttered.com. There's a big old orange button there that says like schedule a consultation. And what a consultation is if you are interested in coaching with me, we get together for a consultation call one-on-one on Zoom, and we just meet each other. And you tell me what you're struggling with stuff-wise. I ask you a standard 8 questions that I do all my clients, so I get a kind of a well-rounded view. And only if it sounds like what you are struggling with is something that I could definitely help you with, then we talk about working together. If what you're struggling with is out of my wheelhouse, I will let you know. I'm never going to take on a client. I'm never going to try to help somebody who I know I can't help. I will help you get referrals to places that you could. But oftentimes, if it's clutter, if it's time management, if it's not knowing where to start, if it's habits, that is what I excel at. And I make it fun. And I love helping clients. And it just is something I'm really good at and I enjoy. And when I see people struggling, it's my nature that I just want to help with whatever I have. So that's why I'm showing up on these TikTok lives and my videos and my coaching and stuff like that there. Okay, so I am going to be on for just a few minutes longer. I started at 7, and I'm going to be on for just a few minutes because my sister's been texting me and I want to get back to her. And I will say this, I put a video up on my page, my TikTok page, with some other times that I promised this week that I would do a TikTok live. So like when this is done and you've got all this decluttering ideas and life-changing ideas and organizing and, oh my God, I could have the life that looks and feels awesome. All of this stuff is swirling around because a seed has now been planted in your brain about the possibility of you living that awesome life. If you want to show up again to one of the TikTok lives and ask a question, you'll find those dates. I think I pinned it on top of my TikTok page. As I said, I've only been doing the TikTok lives for like 2 weeks now, but it's fun to like chat and see, like, this is the thing that I love. It's like I'm connecting with you guys and you can ask me questions. You can find out, you can see how I talk and how I present things and explain things to see if it would feel right for you and me to work together. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea because I know there are other coaches out there that probably they do a great job, but the way that they communicate and stuff just doesn't connect with me. And I know how important it is to understand and click with the people that you work with in order for things to be successful. Okay? So the other thing that I love though is that I see this community already building, like people like asking a question and I can't get to it and somebody else answers it. And that's what this is all about. This is what I believe is that like we all have information and talents and gifts that will help other people in the world, even if it's just, you're doing a craft and what you crafted delighted somebody else. So making time for you to be able to share you with the world and having a decluttered home so you're happy. You walk into your house after the chaos of the planet and you get to walk in and say, I'm so glad I'm home. This place looks so neat. I am so restful and relaxed here. It's so beautiful. I spend very little time working on my clutter. It's easy for me to maintain my home because I have really simple, situations in place that make it super simple to do that. Yeah, and thank you, Fairy Godmother. I believe that too. Like when the student is ready, the universe will provide the teacher. That has happened to me. And I feel like it is my duty as somebody who knows something that can help other people out there with what they're struggling with. I feel it's my duty to find a way to get the word out that I am here to help people if and when they are ready to start helping themselves. I was kind of running out of breath there because I've been talking for the last hour and a half. So, as I said, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach because it's not just about getting a nice, clean house. I'm all about that. And I say clean, but I really mean decluttered, because frankly, I'm not big on dusting and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty slacky on that. But what my goal is for you to live in a home that you feel good in, that you know where everything is, that it looks good to you, it smells good to you, that you could open the door and have friends over at a moment's notice, that you feel good when you live there, and that doing that does not take over your life, so that you also get out of that house and you start exploring the world and you find what lights you up and you start living the life that you were put on the planet to live. Because you can't do that when you're suffocated by stuff and feeling like you can't go out and play because you have to stay home and clean your house and organize your house and it's never getting anything done and I'm trapped here in that kind of stuff like that there, okay? So I am not just talking about the decluttering. It's like what happens after you declutter and what do you want to make space in your life. My little catchphrase is, I help you make space and time in your life for what's important to you. So we make the space in your home for what's important to you. We remove the stuff that doesn't work from your home. So all you're left with is what works and what lights you up. Same thing with your schedule. Remove the stuff that's not working for you, that's bringing you down, and then you have room in your schedule to do the things that you really want to do. Yes, and I agree 100%. The Minimalist on YouTube, I subscribe to him on Facebook. I love what he does. I do. I'm a riff on that. But we're all, so I totally am like that. I think he's doing a great job and I love so much of what he does. I champion that. Go find him out. I do what I do and I do it in a slightly different way. There's room for all of us because we all want to help people live a life that they want to live. And if you're stuck and you're overwhelmed, just know that you can become unstuck and less overwhelmed so you can take action and get in control. And as I said, I talk about the driving metaphor. I've always got this car and all these train cases and TWA, and these are travel guides that I wrote myself. Every time I'm here, I am mentally reminding myself and you about the notion of travel, of going from where you are right now. If you don't love where you are, figure out what you're excited to get to and just start driving. And if you hit a roadblock, I am here to help you with your roadblocks. And I teach you the skills. I provide you with a toolkit of skills so that when you get stuck, you can look in your toolkit and say, okay, what do I got in here that's going to help me get unstuck from the side of the road so I can get back on the road and start driving? You know, clutter is an excuse from training my horses, but clutter is less dangerous, but I still love your horses. I used to love horses too, you know. The thing with your clutter from your horses, maybe it's just an organizational problem that you need to find a better place, a place that works for you to put the stuff, house the stuff, to store it so it doesn't clutter up your life. Clutter is really often stuff that either that needs to be permanently removed because it's just not working for you, or it's the stuff that you have around your house that you use, like your clothes and your kitchen stuff and the things you read, and it's just a matter of finding good homes for those things and making it easy to put them home, okay? So I know some people are just joining in. I literally am only going to be on for a minute because I want to honor the fact that my sister is texting me and I've been on for an hour and a half. But what I will leave you all with is this, please look at the videos on my page. I have a lot of good information there that can help you get decluttered and stay that way. Please like my page so that when I go on TikTok Live again, which I swear to God, I think I said I'd be on at like 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll see. There's actually a post there that's pinned that tells you when I'm going to be on next. If you want to get my... get on my mailing list, my email mailing list. I send out automatically this kind of fun, wicked easy habit tracker. You get 2 of them. You get a plain one to put your habits in, and you've got one that's pre-populated with 10 easy peasy prompts to keep you decluttered and stay that way. So if you sign up for my mailing list, my email mailing list, I also do pretty much like a once a month Zoom just for the people on the email mailing list, that it's kind of like this, but it's better because we get to see each other and talk versus just typing and stuff like that. If you want to do one-on-one coaching, I do one-on-one coaching for a 10-week program that I do, only on Zoom. It's wicked easy. If you're interested in learning more about that and if it could help you, go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, and hit the button that says schedule a consultation. A calendar will pop up with a bunch of dates. Pick a date. I'll get the message, I'll confirm to make sure it's good. We set it up, we show up, we talk on Zoom, and who knows, if it seems like what I could do can help you get your life to where you want to go, we work together, okay? I'm going to sign off now. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for everybody who's contributed to this. And I appreciate it all, and I will see you all, or I'll see some of you maybe, and spread the word. If you know somebody who's stuck with their clutter and stuff, let them know I exist, okay? We'll see you. Yep, and now, bye.